So today we're going to talk about our essays that we wrote on communication in the dental office and why is it important to have proper communication with our patients. In the cycle of life, we develop the ability to speak. From the day we were born, we find ways to communicate our needs with other individuals. Newborns will cry out to their mothers to receive the care that they need, and as children grow, they eventually start making sounds, which turns into words and their native languages. And as we age, our communication skills become more complex, and more people are able to understand us better. Proper communication in work fields. It is important to communicate properly and effectively to coworkers and customers or patients. Proper communication ensures that messages are being delivered and received in an effective and understandable way by all individuals. Good communication in the dental office can help develop good relationships with your patients and your coworkers. Benefits of effective communication are that it can enhance the quality of friendships or relationships with your patients or your coworkers. It can help you establish trust in people, and then people can establish trust in you. Establishing connections with individuals, that's just better understanding people that you work with or patients, pretty much being on the same level of communication. It can help solve problems throughout the day, problems that you might come across in the middle of a procedure or anything like that. And it can create endless opportunities. Disadvantages of poor communication are sometimes it can create misunderstandings if the message is not communicated properly from the sender to the receiver. It can cause missed opportunities. If you don't have good communication skills, there can be a lack of interest in the conversation that you're having with the patient, which can result in them losing out on information that they really need to know and understand. Poor communication can cause conflict or stressful situations. It can cause dissemination of trust with people. So, if you don't have good communication skills, it's going to be hard for somebody to trust you in the office, let alone receive care from you or let you help assist a dentist. And then also disadvantages of poor communication is that sometimes you can have an overall feeling of defeat, whether that be with a patient, a coworker. You just don't have a good feeling about it if you can't communicate properly. There's several types of communication. There's verbal communication, which is using your words. You want to make sure to use a natural tone with patients, your coworkers, the dentist. Make sure that you're not mumbling and that you can be understood very well. There's nonverbal communication, which is facial expressions, body language, hand gestures. When you're talking with people, you want to make sure that you make eye contact. You have good body movement, good posture. Sometimes if people get stressed, you can give them a slight touch on the arm to help calm them down, and hand gestures, such as explaining to someone how to brush their teeth properly. Little gestures like that can help them understand the message that you're trying to tell them. Make sure that you always have good listening skills. Give your full undivided attention to anyone that you're talking to. Allow them to ask questions if necessary, and make sure that you're not fidgeting, because if you're fidgeting, then you're basically showing whoever you're talking to that you're not really paying attention, and it's going to be hard for them to basically respect you, understand you, and want to talk to you. Written communication is emails, recall appointment cards, progress notes, post-op instructions, or even referrals. You want to make sure that you write down everything 100% correct so that there is no confusion on what they need to do or the next steps that they need to take for their treatment. And then there's also visual communication, which is showing materials, procedure steps, and equipment to patients. Sometimes their nerves are so racked up because they don't know what to expect. So showing them and explaining them can really help them calm down and establish trust in you. Communicating verbally with patients. Make sure to use small words that are easy to understand. Give your full attention to the patient. Allow the patient to ask questions. Show the patient empathy and respect. Show the patient that you're present in the conversation. Use a natural tone of voice. Make sure the patient understands what you have said by asking them if they understand. It's always good to even write on your progress notes that patient voices the understanding of what has been told. And explain everything in detail so that they don't feel lost in the appointment. Nonverbal communication, we talked about body language, posture, facial expressions, hand gestures, visual aids. Just like using the Dentiform, you can show a patient how to properly brush or floss, and make sure to use eye contact, and if necessary, you can touch them on the arm or whatever slightly just to calm them down if they're nervous or stressed. There's written communications with patients. This includes emails, sending letters in the mailbox, writing post-op instructions, prescriptions with explanations on use, recall appointment cards as a reminder for returning to the dental office, and consent forms before treatment plans. This explains the procedures, materials, and equipments to the patients so that they know what to expect and aren't caught off guard by anything. Why is proper communication important in the dental field? As we serve patients in dentistry, we want the patients to have enjoyable experiences. A lot of people, when they have fear of going to the dentist, it's because they've had previous bad experiences, and it's hard for them to trust people. When a person feels respected and feel like they have been a part of the conversation throughout the appointment, they typically will leave happier, and they will continue to do business with that dental practice. It is important to remember that explaining procedures, materials, and equipment can help keep your patients at ease when receiving the care that they need. Nobody would rather just go in there and say, open up, let me see. They would like to see, what you're going to do, what the treatment plan is, and what materials they can expect that you'll be using. Maintaining proper communications with patients. That means staying in contact with patients about follow-up or treatment appointments by emailing them, calling them, or sending a reminder in the mail. Remember to use proper email, letter, and calling etiquette. Always give salutations, talk to the patient by their name, and speak in a clear, natural tone so that they can easily understand what you are calling or messaging or writing a letter about. Make sure that the message gets across clear. And then make sure in the emails and letters to proofread before sending so the message comes across clearly and respectfully, and that there is no confusion. And would like to end on the note of the outcomes of proper communications versus the outcomes of poor communication. Proper communication with your patients, it can establish building trust between you and the patient, which can lead to a foundation of friendships. It can help provide clarity and direction of the appointments or treatment plan. It can help solve problems in certain situations. It increases engagement of conversation. It improves productivity, promotes team building. You'll have a smooth running dental practice if you have proper communication all throughout with your patients, your coworkers, and your dentist. And usually when everybody's happy, you will have patients returning to that practice because they're happy with the treatment that they received there. Whereas if you have a patient who has had poor communication experiences in the office, they might lose trust in the people that work there. They might lose friendships, relationships. It can create problems. It decreases engagement with people. There's diminished team building. Then that can lead to poor operation of the dental practice. And overall, if you're not communicating properly, you will have patients leave your office and go try to find help at another facility. So it is important to make sure that you have proper communication through all aspects in order to keep the dental practice running smoothly and to keep everyone involved happy.